back. So we have tonight the first in a triple header. We did a very wonderful date day.
Movie marathon.
Yep, and did 3 movies in one day, and we're going to be trying to bring you those reviews here. So we will begin with the last film that we saw, Jordan Peele's latest offering, Nope.
Nope.
Which I'm not sure about the title, honestly.
No,
but
I love it.
I don't know what else you'd call it, to be honest with you.
Because, I mean, there were times when I was sitting there going, nope, nope, nope. You know, like...
Which I think a lot of people do that in horror movies.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one. We've been wanting to do something like this for a while because, as I've said multiple times on this show, I am not a horror movie fan.
No, you do not like.
But you do.
I love horror movies.
So we have a 2 different points of view on this. For instance, well, not so much for instance, but as it relates to the films of Jordan Peele, while I'm not a huge horror movie fan, I really respect his movies and him as a filmmaker. He is definitely one of the most important directorial voices in, like, I'd say the last 10-15 years, to be honest. I think
if not like in cinematic history, like...
Yeah, so he's a very important director, and his films are always good, even if they're not my personal cup of tea.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I've loved every single one of his movies.
Yeah.
Get Out, Us, like, and
I never saw Us.
I'm a Key and Peele fan from back in the day. Like, I've been a Jordan Peele fan for a long time, and then when he started doing these movies, I was really, I mean, impressed. Like,
yeah. Well, what impressed me about Get Out and what impressed me about this one is he has a knack for making you believe the film is going to be one thing and then taking you in completely the other direction.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that was the big thing with Get Out that I remember seeing the trailers and everything, and you think you know what the movie's going to be about, and then it completely does a 180 on you.
Yes.
And then you're like, this was something I completely... And it does it with this film as well. You know, the advertising, the trailers, the posters all give you the impression you're looking at an Alien movie, which maybe you are, or maybe
you're not.
But not in the sense of
like
the kind that you're looking at. You
right.
know,
it's not like...
This isn't Fire in the Sky.
It's not Independence Day.
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing.
So...
And it is, I mean, relatively small cast, too.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 main characters, really.
Right.
Pardon me.
Mm-hmm.
Things like snap closed on the phone.
Relatively small cast. I mean, he does so much with so little.
Yeah, he really does. That is another thing. It's I think that, yeah, it's a great way to put it. So much with so little.
And he's so good at building up your tension. Like, my muscles clenched somewhere in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, and I don't think they unclenched the whole time. Like,
yeah, he is very good at that. Like, I don't think since maybe Hitchcock, there's been somebody who
could use suspense and
really use it. Yeah, really sets up that suspense and really uses it to its maximum and doesn't just rely on kind of the cheap jump scare.
Right, which, I mean, I screamed several times. You screamed
a couple times in this.
And I wasn't the only one.
No, you weren't. You weren't.
You know, like, yeah, there were multiple times that I could not, like, suppress the the terror. I couldn't suppress it. And it's interesting because we were talking about, like, is there a theme? There's
got to be a theme.
I mean, okay. It's... You worry about doing that thing that Whoa, that was blue.
Yeah.
You worry about doing that thing that English teachers do where they're like, and the wallpaper was blue, and so that represents her sadness. You know,
like thinking that everything means something.
Right. And, you know, like, I know there's already theories out about what the theme of this movie is, and, you know, and I don't know. Like, yes, Jordan Peele has a strong voice for social justice. I mean, if he puts something,
Put the phone back, or it's gonna. This clamshell's been messing up
there we
for
go.
a while.
If he goes through the effort of writing and directing and producing a piece, he's saying something with it. I mean, even just like one of the early things that you learn as you're watching this is that the first motion pictures were of a black man on a horse.
Yeah.
And how, like, hardly anyone knows that person's name or knows who that is. But he's literally, like, the first stuntman, you know, animal wrangler image on moving pictures. And so you get that you get that part of it, but I really think he's saying something about nature and the environment and how harmful it can be to try to harness power that doesn't belong to you. Maybe.
Yeah,
I really am gonna have to think about it a lot harder. Sometimes I'm not smart enough for Jordan Peele. Okay, high points of the movie.
High points of the movie, a lot of suspense, really, really, again, well timed, beautifully shot.
Mm-hmm.
I like, as I mentioned, he is very good at taking the visual shorthand that we kind of associate with certain pictures and certain genres, using them, but then kind of turning them on their head. Like, he knows the imagery that usually goes along with alien abduction movies and things like that, and he plays that up, basically to set your expectations in one direction and then takes it in a completely other direction.
And you really, like, some of it's kind of subtle, and you just kind of catch it in the back of your, you know, like, the corner of your eye. But, like, and I think that comes from him being such a strong horror fan. We talked about before how if you're going to make a movie and, you know, if you're going to use a trope, you need to know that trope.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I mean, he knows the horror genre and he knows how to manipulate it.
Yeah.
Keke Palmer is great.
Eh.
You don't like the performances?
Honestly, no. One of the weak sides of this film, I would say, are the performances.
I would disagree with you.
I did not feel like the performances were really that strong, to be completely honest. Great seeing Michael Wincott back again, big 90s villain back in the day. So great to hear that raspy, overdone voice again, but I'm gonna say no. I was not really a fan of the performances.
I would disagree with you on that.
No, that's fair.
Like, I really think, like, I mean, Daniel Kaluuya's character said so little, but communicated so much with his expressions. And
see, I will disagree with that. Gosh. I don't think he communicated hardly anything. He was so stoic the whole time.
But that was his character. Like, that's what he was supposed to be.
It dragged the entire energy of the piece down.
No, it built the suspense.
Not from where I was sitting. I was bored out of my mind when it was just him and her on camera, because he barely spoke, barely did anything, and she was too over the top.
But I think that's their relationship, you know, one sibling compensating for the other, you know. Do you know what was missing from this, and refreshingly so?
What?
There is no romantic story in this at all.
That is true, yeah, there's no romantic subplot.
At all.
No.
Like, Yeah, it's just them doing their thing, you know?
Yeah, which is interesting. Yeah, you don't see that much. So yeah, you're right. That is a strong point in its favor.
Mm-hmm. So if I had any negativity about the movie, it would be I don't like to see the monster. Not in that, like, it grosses me out. Like, I think that it's more suspenseful. It was more suspenseful when we didn't see the monster full on.
I will agree with that. I think there was a point towards the climax of the picture where once we kind of knew what the monster, what it was, or had it. I mean, they never. I liked this about the movie because I like when they do things like this where they never really explain where the monster came from or what it is. It's just there.
Yeah.
You know, Tremors did this. Independence Day did it.
I thought about Tremors a lot while I was watching this, actually.
You know, so I liked that it did that. But there came a point in the climax when the really suspenseful part was done, and we had kind of an overlong, not so much action sequence, but confrontation, and all the suspense and fear that had kind of been drummed up through the imagery and the building of suspense, I felt really went out of the climax of the film, and I was just kind of waiting for it to be done at that point.
No, I wouldn't say I was waiting for it to be done at that point. I think it just got a little murky there, because it was hard to tell for a while what it was doing. Was it suffering? Was it defeated? And I think it got a little murky there for a little bit, but I still wanted to see it through. I still wanted to see what happened to it. If they were going to be able to defeat it, or, you know, get out of there alive, or if they were going to have to just run away and let it be.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, so I feel like it kind of lost a little air in the ending, which is an ironic statement.
Now, I think that the performances were what they needed to be for that, and I think that it's interesting to see the different levels that Daniel Lewis played in the different movies, because he was much more chipper and exuberant and get out, and then this one he was a very stoic man guy.
But he's a very good actor.
He is.
I think you can still do stoic without dragging the energy of the picture down, which I feel he did.
I disagree with you on that. You are wrong.
Always has to come back to that.
But I thought, like, I don't know, the imagery was pretty good.
Yeah, I know it's part of the overall theme and the character. But it was some of the scariest stuff in the film. The whole Gordy the chimpanzee subplot.
Yeah. I knew you were going to complain about this.
It's not a complaint. It was some of the scariest stuff in the movie, but it felt like it was part of another movie. Like there was something which is again why I say I know there's a theme to this, and right now I'm having trouble piecing it all together. So I'm sure there's a reason why that was included. Why, you know, it was the character's trauma from surviving that, giving him, you know, some kind of false impression that he can bond with creatures and he's invincible. You know.
See, I saw it as the through line that you talked about. Like, what happens when you try to tame something that you have no right to be trying to take power over it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to force something to conform to what you want it to be when you don't have any right to try to take that power.
Okay.
So, and I tell you what, chimpanzees are scary.
Yes, they are.
They are scary as Get Out. Like,
Yes.
not as
But-
Get
but-
Out the movie,
yeah,
but yeah, no, I was thoroughly frightened. And I have to say, all three of the movies we went and saw today, I had to just sit there for a minute
And process.
I had to digest. Like, three very different movies, very different digestion processes. But I don't know. I think he's got another hit on his hand. I think.
I'm sure he does.
Home run here. And
I would say a solid double with run batted in.
Okay.
Would be my
sports ball.
I don't know if I'd go a complete home run on this one, because it definitely felt a little bit more disjointed than Get Out, but it's still a good movie. So I don't dispute that point.
I think that it's a hit. I think that Jordan Peele has kind of the magic touch about these things.
Oh, it's very good. And one of the things I was thinking about as we were watching it is that one of the reasons you've really got to respect him, and I don't mean to offend horror movie fans, but to me, one of the things about horror is it's always kind of felt like one of the most disposable of genres.
It does tend to be like a popcorn.
Yeah, the films come out, they're usually made fairly cheap.
Yeah.
And then even if you get one that is something original,
they're gonna do 27 sequels of it.
Yeah, you're gonna
driving into the ground.
Mm-hmm, so it's going to become kind of a, not so much a joke, but you go see a movie and they show trailers for horror films. You're gonna get the same jump scares, the same, and it's not to say that there aren't hardworking people in those genres. It's just to say that as a genre, I've always felt like horror was the most disposable. And I think where Jordan Peele is very important is he is taking that genre, again, kind of like a modern day Hitchcock, and raising it up and actually not making disposable films.
They're art pieces.
But yeah, they are, like I said, this is a film where I know there's a theme, I know there's something going on inside it. I don't know what it is, and that's something that's a good thing. That means you should discuss it and you should think about it, and it should kind of make you not so much lose sleep, but it should make you ponder it longer than just the time it takes you to get out the door.
Get out.
Get out there. Yeah.
But yeah, he has elevated the genre in that respect. And I definitely appreciate that each of his movies is its own thing, and he's not doing sequels and there's no Get Out 3. We really got to get out this time.
Yeah.
But it's I appreciate that.
Us Two, Them.
I think Them was a different movie.
Them was the ants. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know. It's one that I'm going to think about. And I don't we were talking when we went into this. I will go and watch anything that Jordan Peele makes. I was not super excited about this because I don't like alien movies. That's one part of the horror genre I'm just not into. And whereas you actually,
I'm not a. I guess it depends on definition. I've always been fascinated. I was a fan of the X-Files and all that by the alien abduction story. I just watched Fire in the Sky for the first time this past summer. So I've always been fascinated by that whole genre or subject matter, whatever you want to call it. So I was really interested in this one, and I can't say I was disappointed. I had a good time. Well, as good a time as you can while you're clutching the seat and trying to do deep breathing exercises to control your heart rate.
Trying to be all manly while your girlfriend is screaming next to you.
Yeah, I wasn't even worried about being manly. I was just worried about not having a heart attack. So
there were definitely some moments. Oh my gosh, there was he does, and it's not a jump scare somebody pops out at you with a knife.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, just like truly terrifying. It's just truly terrifying when it happens. So yeah, I don't know. I will watch this again. I will read the analysis of this. I will fangirl over this movie for sure. And what was cool too was the trailers were predominantly for black movies or black made movies.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, like, that's pretty exciting to see. So, sorry, go ahead.
That was kind of all I was really going to say. And again, I mentioned it. I was happy to see Michael Wincott back. Haven't seen him in forever. If you don't know him, going back to the 90s, he was the bad guy in The Crow. He was Guy of Gisborne in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He was the sidekick to Tim Curry in Disney's Three Musketeers. You know, just that great evil, gravelly voice. I wanted him, I don't think he could do it now, but back in the day, I wanted him to play Mr. Sinister in the X-Men movies. You know, but so it just was good to see him. I was always a fan of him back in the day.
The makeup artist in one of the early scenes of the movie is one of my favorite podcasters. So shout out Lisa Traeger from the That's Messed Up podcast. Like, you do you, boo. But yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if this wasn't the best analysis of the film. I think that's gonna have to wait until we can really
gotta think about
look it over. So that's the issue with doing kind of a.
I gotta think about it, and I gotta read what more smarter people say about it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what she hasn't done any videos in a long time, but I'd be interested to see what someone like Lindsay Ellis would think of this.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I want to say that there is a professor somewhere that has a whole class now about dissecting Jordan Peele's movies.
Damn.
So,
which is interesting because he's only done the 3, right?
Yes, but he's produced more.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So, and all I can say, the last thing I can say before we get to final grades is, there was a rumor a while ago that Jordan Peele wanted to reboot Disney's Gargoyles for a movie, and that's one of my all-time favorite shows, and I'd be cool with that.
Yeah,
I'd be cool.
That's good. That was the approval they've been waiting on.
I know it is. I'd have some criteria. There'd be some things I'd want to make sure of, but overall,
he would do so well with that.
Overall, I think it would be good. Okay.
That would be awesome.
So sorry, not the best film analysis that we could do, but there you have it. So let's wrap it up. Final grade for you for Nope.
It's a solid A.
Yeah.
Solid A. Yeah. I would say I wouldn't give it an A+ because, like I said, I don't like to see my monsters. I like to be secretive. But yeah, solid A. We'll watch again.
Okay, I am a little bit, as we kind of discussed here. There are parts of it I was not as thrilled with as you were. But I think on the whole, it was a pretty strong movie. So I'm going to go a B+.
Okay.
For this one. And
that's pretty good for you in a horror movie.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's no Last Night in Soho, but it's pretty damn good. So, yeah. So we have at least 2 more films we're going to be reviewing.
We're going to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to do those tomorrow. But we had a good day at the movies, and thank you for coming along with us. You're going to be seeing a lot more of us doing reviews together in the future, and we're very excited about that. So thank you very much for joining us, and as always, drive safe, and we will see you at the movies.